Hello, friends. We are so excited to talk with you today about the powerful certification program offered by the U.S. Distance Learning Association. That's USDLA to all who love us. I'm Hope Katz-Gibbs, Communications Director for the organization, founded in 1987. It was the first to realize the value of distance learning and put a group of people together to move it forward. In the decades since, we have grown into an international network of educators at colleges and universities, pre-K to 12 school districts, and professionals in the corporate world who know just how valuable it is to provide courses at a distance. Today, I am thrilled to be here with our 2023-2024 president, Chuck Sengstock, who also heads up one of the most valuable aspects of the organization, this certification program. So hello, Chuck.
Hello, thank you so much for having me today, Hope.
Yes, this is excellent. This is one of my favorite organizations in the country because it provides friendship with education on how to move things forward. One of our colleagues at the 2023 conference said, you come for the conference, you stay for the community. And I love that. I love that. And this certification program is really essential for so many schools. Tell us why that's the case.
Thank you so much, Hope. I really appreciate being here today. And one thing that really separates the USDLA schools, or the schools that have the United States Distance Learning Association certification, is it shows that they've gone through an actual process of continuous improvement, and or they're continuing to improve throughout their certification timeline. Every school that is part of or is certified by the United States Distance Learning Association is certified for a 5-year period. Every year after the initial certification, schools are supposed to and required to send us an updated report every year showing their improvement around some of the areas that while they were going through the certification, they were shown needed improvement. But really, this self-improvement process is something that the school gains from, as well as the students, because it allows the schools to become better distance learning course and program providers. And then in the meantime, students continue to get improved upon programs and courses. So really, being certified by the United States Distance Learning Association gives you the opportunity to not only promote the fact that you are certified, but also to continually, using the tools that we provide and our guidance, continue to improve your program.
So what I hear you talking about is best industry practices. Tell us more about what some of those are.
Sure. So when we are asked to visit a school, the first thing that the school does is it will put together a self-report, and it will base its self-report around our standards. And then we will look at that report, and as long as the school scores a certain score, we will move forward and we will conduct the certification process. But the different standards that I'm referring to are standards that are specific to administration. They're specific to technology. They're also specific to student affairs. And so really, these standards are all based around the different aspects of your distance learning program and what schools need to have in place to make sure that they have the right supports for their students, but also their faculty. And so all of these standards are specific to making sure that schools have the right supports in place for everyone that is involved in the program. So it can be looking at standards around the registrar's office. It can be looking at standards around course design. It can be looking at standards around student services, such as transcript review. Different things around admissions, the whole admissions process, which obviously transcript review is part of, but financial aid too. So it's really a well-constructed set of standards that holistically will look at a program and then allow the program and or the university, as well as the USDLA individuals that are conducting the visit, to really wrap their heads around what is working, what isn't, and what can be improved.
That's excellent. So what does it take to achieve USDLA accreditation status?
Well, what a school needs to do is they initially, first of all, they need to have at least been offering online programs for 2 years. And then if they've been offering for 2 years, then there is actually an application process that the school needs to go through. They need to fill out a number of forms that they're giving us some background information, and then we move forward from there. But it is an application process based on the number of years that you have actually been involved in offering programs to students.
That makes perfect sense. So how does the application process work? Where do we get started?
Well, first thing you would want to do is if you are interested, I think the first place to start would be contacting somebody from the certification program here at the United States Distance Learning Association. And right now, that point person is actually Arletha McSwain. And she would be the one that would really give you the information, or the institution the information that they needed to get started, the outline, for the application and those types of things. But it would be starting with your contact from the USDLA, as I said, which would be Arletha, and then allowing us to help guide you and answer your initial questions. Because I think really what a lot of schools will have initial questions around, what is the cost, how, what are the expectations years 2, 3, 4, and 5? What if we want to recertify? Those are all things that Arletha can answer, and or I could as well, if somebody had questions.
Excellent. And actually on USDLA.org, there's a whole section on certification. You can find contact information as well as in the transcript of our interview and the liner notes. So we're going to point people lots of places. USDLA.org is probably the best place, so rich with information. So, and I know there's so many organizations that have already been certified. In fact, Fort Hays State University's Director of Online and Military Connected Student Services, Kayla Hickel, said, USDLA's quality standard certification is more than just a certification. It's evidence of the institution's commitment to our online students and faculty. Not only does this rigorous endorsement help us fulfill the university's mission to provide accessible quality education to Kansas and the nation and the world, she says, but it's a key component of our value proposition. So talk a little bit about that. What is the value proposition from that highest level?
Well, I think really the value proposition is when you go through the standards process or the standard certification process with USDLA, you're really taking your program apart and you're looking at very different pieces. And I always like to talk, when I talk to people about it, I like to talk to them about it from the standpoint of systems, because all these different things that we're looking at through standards, be it the admissions process, be it the registrar's office, be it training for faculty, those types of things, those are all systems in their own right, and they're all being operated by, could it be, student affairs, it might be the Center for Educational Technology or Center for Teaching Excellence, depending on the different schools. But really the value proposition to me is it really allows you to pull back and look at all the services that you're offering your students, your faculty, and the university as a whole, and how to really be able to leverage those so they work in not only in tandem, but they work to support the students and your faculty throughout the process, either throughout taking courses or teaching courses.
Now give us some insider advice. So it's not cheap to do this, but it's really important. Clearly, you've made that argument. So what's the trick? How do we make sure that if we're going to spend this money and invest, and we know how important it is, what should we do? What should we be aware of?
Well, I think really the first thing is that there is a cost to this, and so for organizations up to 10, or excuse me, for organizations up to 3,000 students, it is $10,000 initially to get certified. If you pass, that is, it would be $10,000, and then there is a yearly amount of $2,500 that schools are required every year to pay when they actually submit their self-study, and or I should say their report for that year. So one, they do need to know that there is a cash outlay, and this is not something, this isn't necessarily a light lift. And so there's over 90 standards that schools need to address as they're going through. So schools need to know that there's a fiscal part of this. There's also a staffing or a part of this that, there's going to be some time put into it. But I think that really what they do need to know is I have not talked to one school that has not been satisfied with going through the process and what going through that process has done for them quality wise. And so I think that, schools need to know that there's going to be some time and there's some money invested, but on the back end, it's going to make their program better. And one, I think, value add that our Letha McSwain or Dr. McSwain likes to bring up a lot is that as you're going through the United States Distance Learning Quality Standards review process, and then obviously doing your report every year, you have a lot of the foundational information that you need if you are preparing for a middle states or a higher learning commission accreditation visit. So there's a value add from that standpoint that a lot of the information your accreditors might be looking for, you have already put together in your information for USDLA. So there's a value add there. But I just think that it's a good opportunity for schools to really make a concerted effort in improving their services to distance learners. And I think that, as we look at, for schools such as myself, Drake University, and other schools that are residential based, I think that there's still, just like in a lot of schools, an emphasis on our online students. And this really helps put that focus on your online students. So those are the things, those are the things that I think schools need to know, not only from, what is it going to take, but also what are we going to get?
That's amazing. And I know that as we've been talking internally, there's going to be more and more rollout of programs to get schools up and running before they spend all that money and spend all this time. As important as this is, we want them to succeed. And so their investment is our investment in them. So this is amazing, Chuck. Next, on our next episode, we are going to interview Dr. William Ryan, who works at USDLA and has been a board member for a long, long time. And he has his own organization where he also helps people with distance learning. But through USDLA, he works with corporations as you work with higher ed professionals. So we're going to bring him on the next episode to talk about that. And then we're going to bring you both on for a Q&A and throw this out to the audience so you can answer their questions. So I am so excited about this accreditation program. I really think that every school needs to know about this because USDLA's quality standards are super high. And it really keeps, if you're a student and you're investing in a school and you want to be educated, you want to know that you're going to a school that has this high quality standard. So thank you, Chuck, our 2023-2024 president of the U.S. Distance Learning Association. I am Hope Katz-Gibbs, the proud communications director for this amazing organization. Check us out online, usdla.org, and we will bring you much, much more soon. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you.